Good morning. This is Ron Mickens. You know the topic. Fraud upon the court. We're going to get started. I'm going to share with you directly from a memorandum of law. Fraud on the court by officers of the court. Under federal law, which is applicable to all states, the U.S. Supreme Court stated that if a court is without authority, its judgments and orders are regarded as nullities. They are not voidable, but simply void, and form no bar to a recovery sought, even prior to a reversal in opposition to them. They constitute no justification, and all persons concerned in executing such judgments or sentences are considered in law as trespassers. Now, I'm kind of directing this to our Polk County Sheriff, Grady Judge. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judge sent a sheriff SWAT team out to remove Ron and Gloria Mickens from our private residential property, our private real property, based on orders that was obtained by fraud upon the court. This makes Polk County Sheriff Grady Judge a trespasser of the law. Now, too, I want to make sure too that I communicate to you this distinction between erroneous decisions or mistaken decisions, errors in judgment by a judge. There's a difference. Those decisions are appealable decisions to an appeals court. But on the other hand, when a judge commits an illegal act, he's dishonest, immoral acts, deceit, fraud, you investigate, you charge, you establish probable cause, and you prosecute them. So there's a distinction. And I'm saying this because our government officials, our politicians, they like to purport that they don't have any type of responsibilities to try to correct these problems. Okay, they try to circumvent their responsibilities from doing anything about it. When it's all of our responsibilities to try to do something about our, we being deprived of our constitutional and civil rights. Let me go on with this memorandum. What effect does an act of fraud upon the court have upon court proceedings? It is also clear, fraud upon the court makes void the orders and judgments of that court. Let me read that again. Fraud upon the court makes void the orders and judgments of that court. It is also clear and well settled that any attempts to commit fraud upon the court vitiates the entire proceeding. The maxim that fraud vitiates every transaction into which it enters applies to judgments as well as to contracts and other transactions. It is axiomatic that fraud vitiates everything. It is what? Self-evident that fraud vitiates everything. Okay. Let's start with the person who started all of it, who started this whole conspiracy. Okay? This was our ex-state attorney, Jerry Hill, here in Polk County. So please stay with me. I got to make sure you understand that Jerry Hill and these judges and lawyers committed fraud upon the court. Jerry Hill, this is a quote from Jerry Hill. He said, "We can deal with somebody making a mistake and owning up to it," he said. "What we cannot deal with is somebody who lies or covers it up. That will cost you your career, and it should." Now, Jerry Hill had put himself and his co-conspirators above the law. Okay? I want to make that clear. Jerry Hill fraudulently, he made this material misrepresentation that we, Ron and Gloria Mickens, transferred our property to Damron Construction Company. He perpetrated this fraudulent misrepresentation. Without this fraudulent misrepresentation, his co-conspirators, Stewart Title Guaranty Company's, lawyers, would have never been able to file this frivolous, fake, fraudulent complaint in the name of Damron. Damron was the nominal party. Stewart Title was the fraudulent, purported real party in interest. Okay? This is what you call a preempted strike. This is obstruction of justice. We were the plaintiff. Okay? We were the victims. They were fraudulently purporting themselves as the victims and as the plaintiff. Jerry Hill enabled, conspired, and orchestrated this with Stewart Title attorney. It was fake. Okay? They couldn't have done this if he had done his job. Judge Strickland determined that the Damrons fraudulently misrepresented the nature of a quitclaim deed. They fraudulently induced, chased, they fraudulently executed the deed. They committed fraud in the formation and the performance of the construction contract. They fraudulently obtained a claim to fee simple title to our property. They fraudulently maintained a claim to fee simple title to our property. Doesn't that prove that Jerry Hill failed to do his job? He omitted, he's covering up their organized fraud, their scheme to defraud, their forgery, so on and so forth. Because you heard me say these things before. Okay? Now, remember, too, this is in direct contradiction to our, this fraudulent complaint is in direct contradiction to our fraud, cancellation of deed, quiet title, ejectment, and breach of contract causes of action. When the judge entered judgment on the merits of our claims, this proves also that this complaint was fake. It was frivolous. It was fraudulent. It proves Jerry Hill failed to do his job. Another point that I want to make sure we get, and I'm kind of piggybacking on video 13. Quitclaim deed is not a warranty deed. It's not a special warranty deed. It's not a bargaining sale warranty deed. Stewart Title Guaranty Company had this subrogation agreement with the Damron. They subrogated. In other words, they substituted. This is insurance policy. This underwriters agreement that they had, but they encumbered our property with a fraudulent mortgage, knowing it. They knew Damron wasn't the owner of our property. They know Damron was stealing the property. Okay, but they assumed all the risk with this subrogation agreement. In case this fraudulent deed was detected, they assumed the risk. Okay, so Quit claim deed protects nothing. You got to understand the distinction between a warranty deed and quit claim deed. In other words, what I'm saying is that you have no cause of action. You have no standing. You have no right to sue if you accept a quit claim deed. It don't give you a right to file a complaint against anybody. Jerry Hill, every real estate lawyer in the country and judge knows this. You see how fake their complaint is? And Jerry Hill is perpetrating this. But you got to understand this, and I have to say these things to you. This Southern Belle discrimination, this dictator, Victoria mentality, this slave master mentality that they have. Okay? In other words, he tell us what to say, what to think. Okay? It's slave master mentality. Whether it's right, wrong, he don't care. We're supposed to do it. Okay? Don't question him, period. You got to understand this mentality. Okay? Judge Moore, it's the same thing. Say we could have been much clearer about what our desire was when it came to rescinding the contract and our attempts for the contract. But we were pro se. In other words, she's basically dictating to us. She's saying we can't think for ourselves. Okay? She knows that this is fraud. The proof was what? Already in the pudding. We had prevailed on 5 claims, showing what our desire and what our attempts was. Our other pleadings also proved what we were attempting and what we desired. Okay? So, I always like to say Judge Goldstein was their man because he just didn't mind creating all of this fraud for them. He was their man. Okay. One of the first things that he did when the case got to him, he fraudulently severed. You call it sever. He separated the case. That's what it means, separation of the case. He separated the case into 3 different lawsuits. Okay, there were 3 lawsuits, but Judge Durrance had entered an order consolidating the 3 lawsuits into one case because it was always one case. The case was always based on the same operative facts. Damron was named in all 3 lawsuits and fraud was alleged in all 3 lawsuits. So the 3 lawsuits had been consolidated down into this one case. Judge Prince and Judge Durrance had consolidated the case. Now, Judge Goldstein gonna unconsolidate, which he can't do. It's unlawful. It's fraud. He's going, so listen, stay with me now. The issues, claims, and facts and parties are interrelated. They're integrated. They're interconnected. They're intertwined. They're inextricably tied together. You can't really separate them. Judge Goldstein ordered the clerk of court to maintain 3 separate files, as if these was 3 different separate independent cases. And on the other hand, he required us to style the pleading saying that all 3 of the cases was consolidated. This is not me, though, making these determinations. This is Judge Artiglaire. Judge Artiglaire said that this was regrettable, what Judge Goldstein did. In essence, Judge Artiglaire ordered overturned this fraudulent severance of the case. it really overturned the Second District Court of Appeal and Judge Moore fraudulent orders, because when we're all in one case together, we're the true plaintiff, and they have no defense to any of our claims. Okay? I hope this is making sense to you. Judge Goldstein Seaver separate the case, and he put us in this fraudulent quagmire, or what I call a catch-22, situation. We damned if we do, we damned if we don't. He's going to direct or order us to participate in this process to allow two contractors to come out and assess the cost of materials and labor. Damron is not entitled to any relief in equity or law. And he's requiring us to participate in this process where we're going to replace 20 claims that we are entitled to prevail on as a matter of law. They're undisputable and indeniable, undeniable. Okay? Why would anybody in their right mind do something like that in exchange for one claim where we're going to have to pay the losing party? Who in their right mind could do such a thing? No one. But they're asking us to do this. I want you to see this quagmire that he's put in there. Okay, so when we objected, then he said, you're lawless. You don't follow court orders to inspect property. You're in contempt of court. You're so much more lawless than the Damrons, Stewart Title Guaranty Company, Stewart Title of Polk, Canady, and Rewis. You see the fraud upon the court? He put me in jail for telling the truth. The truth is a defense to anything. The truth is an affirmative defense. Okay? So I want you to understand how he put us in this quagmire. One that's to collect evidence outside of the case, outside of the issues and facts and claims that's been alleged and litigated and already adjudicated. You see how they don't have jurisdiction. It's outside the scope of their jurisdiction. This information that he's asking us to bring in don't have anything to do with the case. This is fraud upon the court. And going to treat Damron all of a sudden like he's a party with a claim. You don't have no claim. He ain't entitled to no relief in equity or law. And we're not going to give him no claim. Okay? We have to be out of our mind. Okay? But he's forcing us, to do this. Got us in this catch-22. It's unbelievable. Okay? And they ain't going to turn around talking about Stewart Title can foreclose. Okay, that's crazy. That's insane. And Rewis, Highsmith, and Canady entitled to a judgment coming based on collateral estoppel because Stewart Title done so-called won the foreclosure actions against us, Ron and Gloria Mickens. I hope this fraud on the court, I'm showing you how to see through these illusions that they created. This non sequitur. That's how they create their own mind realities and mix up the facts, half truth, quoting facts, all out of context. Okay? So, you got to understand why Grady Judd is trespassing the law. These orders are void. They were obtained by fraud upon the court. It couldn't possibly have been done if Jerry Hill would have did his job. Okay? It's not unusual what they do, but what's unusual is that Ron and Gloria Mickens is standing up to this injustice, to this lawlessness against the judicial system. Okay? We're African American descent. Okay? It happens to minorities and people from low economic, social backgrounds, every day. So you have to stay with me. I'm not going to, go on. I think you can see that a quick claim deed don't provide any protection. Okay, you can see this quagmire. The cases could not be separated. If the cases is not separated or unjoined, we're the plaintiff. The issue is fraud. It's about the deed, not a construction contract. They're inextricably, tied together. I hope you can see how they use fraud vitiates everything. When Judge Moore lied, it was not a court for justice anymore. It was for injustice. They all had been purchased by Stewart Information Service Corporation. Okay? So you hang in there, because the next time I got to talk about the school board, superintendent renters. Then I got to get to these lawyers, and we got to talk about the federal district court, because they know this. They know it like the back of their hands. Can't reverse the trial judge findings. Talking about we're state court losers based on those fraudulent orders that Judge Cohnstein them ran amok with. Okay, you can't do that. That's all that has to be answered. Can you overturn a judge's findings on the merits of our fraud, cancellation, be quiet, title, ejectment? And with what? Damron ain't never been in a suit again to relitigate these issues. You can't overturn that. It wouldn't even allow us and Damron to be in the same lawsuit with a case. They got to give him a frivolous judgment talking about sanctioning us because we wouldn't participate in the order to so-called inspect property. He ain't entitled to no judgment in any way, shape, form, or fashion. He was not even a real party. He got paid. He never suffered a loss. No claim, no cause of action, no nothing. But they created these illusions as if we were the guilty one. Now, okay, I'm not going to go on because I'm coming back. I will see you real soon.